be co-host of this event tonight and to be throwing our support behind Lynn Gray for School Board of Hillsborough County. And Lynn has a new endorsement from the Greater Tampa Area Board of Realtors, and Mary Hogan is here. And we thank you all, Mary, for that. And we are just so thrilled that Lynn is in the runoff. And this is Mary Hogan.
Thank you. Thank you. We're proud to. We're very proud to.
Lynn has had such a successful grassroots campaign. There were 7 candidates running for her district, and she beat out some heavyweights. The lead Republican candidate and the lead Democratic candidate. So she knows how to work, and we want to put her to work. And she's going to tell us what she can do for the children, students, and teachers of Hillsborough County. Okay, Lynn.
Thanks, Karen. We're so very, very happy to be here and amongst friends and just really courageous folks within this room. I want to just say thank you, because sometimes I get too excited and I forget some people to really thank. So let me just say that I actually have a staff, which is really impressive to me. And his name, the head of the staff, is Don Evans. He is my political consultant. I'm very careful with words. And Louis Gray, my husband, is the treasurer. Shirley Noble is a secretary. She volunteers at Metropolitan Ministries and is volunteering tonight. Angie Alexandro is my social media, and she's probably taking photos right now. And I actually have a press secretary, Mary Estes. And one half of the team. And Lance is running. Hi, Lance. Come on in. Just started by speech. Scriven is running for the president of the Bar Association. Is that correct?
Florida Bar.
Florida Bar. They have a meeting next door, so we are definitely involved with lawyers and very VIP folks as well. Thanks for coming. My endorsements. I wanted to say something about that, and I was sharing that with Mary. I really only wanted those folks to endorse me that I felt like cared about education, had influence enough to help bring attention to the needs of our kids. And it has come in a natural process. The endorsements we have, I'm very, very pleased. I don't say them aloud or list them, but I did want to mention them tonight. We know that these people are extremely influential. They're great leaders in our community, and they are extremely involved in doing good for others. And this will come right on down to becoming partnerships when I hopefully get elected to the school board, which is really important for me to have. Richard Gunsmart, the restaurateur, he's not here right this second, but he's an educator. He's opened up a culinary arts school in Ybor City, and he's putting on his race, Richard's Run for Life, on November 4th. He may just come running right on through. Sometimes that's his style. He was in Sicily last night or yesterday, so he was flying in. Such a dear couple and friend, Karen Dalton, who, as you all know, was the founder of Miles for Profit, and just one heck of a giving gal. Bill Dalton, our Hall of Fame, and the founder of M2 Gen Health. What a great accomplishment. Hall of Fame. Big believer in education. Don and Babs Evans. This is another great team. His wife, Don, his wife Babs, is an educator and very devoted in every type of community affiliation. Ted Couch is one of our endorsees as well, and he's been on numerous boards and foundations, and he uses his influence to make our community a much better place. I'm sorry he's not here. Jean Coleman, a Renaissance woman, a runner, one of the top lawyers. I don't know where she is, but she's likely to appear late because that's her style. And I think some of us runners know that in track. She'll come late and she won't mind that she's late. She'll just come walking at her own time. Tommy Hyde, award-winning lawyer and also an educator. He's been supporting me throughout. He actually, I think I can beat him still on the run, but we've been running together for almost 30-something years, and he may, well, I don't know whether he's going to come tonight. Carolyn Brickemeyer, former school board member, her and I just talked yesterday about strategies to face when I'm on the school board, and she's a big supporter. Dr. Susan Long, who ran for city council, she's a doctor at USF and an instructor, and she guides me with the budget and all kinds of little, I say it's boring information, but probably very important, prepares me for questions. And then we have Dr. Noreen Dullard. I don't know whether you've ever heard of Kids Count, but it's a huge data bank. Noreen, where are you? Oh, there you go. She's almost as tall as I. And she comes up consistently with the data that's very relevant to, our kids, where they're strong, where they're weak, their socioeconomic status, and the details that I need to know to prove my case. Mary Figgs, a former member of the House of Representatives. She's one of our endorsees. Roger Traynor is here tonight, former General Director, Technical Career Education, and a member of the Athena, which we went to today, recognized by just about every human being on earth. Sherry Donahue, she's Miss Temple Terrace, and while you might not have met her, some of you do know her, she's quite an advocate of education and does so much for not only Temple Terrace, but definitely apprises us of what is important, especially as it relates to our kids. Widow Stranko, he is here, and not only does he have both arms appearing, Widow is helping me greatly with this campaign, and he's using his influence to help me get out there. Former CEO and president of Mosey for many, many years. And what a genuine genius. And that's GG. Put that down. I don't know whether Kathy Barnes knows that she's an endorsee, but I put her down because not only do you sound important, but you are an important person to me. So Kathy is the Assistant Director of Continuing Education. So you probably see the theme that we're really dealing with a lot of educators. Susan King is the president-elect of Magnet Schools. She's endorsing me, and she will be the president of Magnet Schools. And of course, we did meet Mary and Andy Scaglione, the president of the Greater Tampa Realtors Association, and Mary will be the president in 2017. So we're very happy that she's here. Everybody, but those are enough right now to keep me busy in the endorsee department. Now, what was my biggest challenge? And I've never run for office before. I know you all know that, but it was really, really daunting. And Don has this mantra that he shares with me every time I get shocked. It's politics. Then it's just politics. So one of the biggest challenges was the idea that I'm going into this field where people actually say things that necessarily are not true. And I'm, a teacher is like, see you later, Mary. They're not used to those kinds of situations, and I think Bill can attest to that. We're both, also actually, Bill Person is another endorsee. I'm sorry, Bill Person, thank you for all of your help and his lovely wife, Lori. But Bill and I are not used to this type of being challenged necessarily not on a fair plate. And then there was the huge field of candidates. I think we had, Karen, I think we had not 7, I think we had 8 or 9 candidates going into this. So that was daunting. Here are some of my strengths. I'm just going to mention 4. This is how I got through this. It's not that exciting, but it really speaks well of each of you in here. So when I say this is my strength, it really comes down to you people as well, because you have the same possessions. The first thing I found to be extremely important is that you are qualified and you have experience. Seems to me that people should be elected and voted on, in large part, of how well they're qualified.
Technicality.
Technicality. That's politics. That's politics. Then there is the personal discipline, and I think some of you in here realize that hard work indicates tenacity, perseverance, endurance, but generally speaking, I have always found that hard work will get you to the final goal if you really believe in what you're doing. And I always tell my husband, I might not have gotten this endorsement, I might not have won this, but I worked my hardest. And as long as I did the hardest and the best I could, that's all I can do for myself. And that's how I've lived my life. Work the hardest I can each and every day. Thirdly, one of the strengths I've learned, because I have a board of directors and running, I coach all women, I have collaboration techniques and consensus. Working with women is very, very difficult. And you need a lot of experience in building that type of collaborative environment. And I know it sounds funny, but if I didn't have my whistle, a track, and my big mouth, and but we have a board of directors that all want the same thing. And what we're all looking at my Take the First Step club and my business is the welfare of both adults and young people. We want them to become healthy. So we all want the same end result. That's why we can have collaboration. Might not agree, but we can all agree on the final part of the argument. And I think that has helped me greatly. Lastly, and this comes with Karen Dalton territory. Karen, as she put it into words, but it's called relationship building. I think my entire life as an instructor, a teacher, a mentor, a runner, a business owner, all of those years, I built relationships, and I never really realized how many years. It's been 45 to 50 years in Tampa. And I've been running most of my life, actually. I think I've run since I was 15 years old. And believe it or not, and Luke can attest, I still have these are still friends of mine. So and then I started a business.
And your train has finally arrived.
All right, well, I'm going to be very swift here. So one thing I learned about on this forum business, I listened to all these political forums, and I have to speak. And I listened to the constituents, and I was very, very delighted to hear something that I didn't really realize. I took for granted. One of the folks came up 2 nights ago and said to my opponent, she said, well, you just need more volunteers to help them get to rereading and to get them strong on their literacy. Try your best to get volunteers. Well, the woman stood right back up. I have more volunteers than you can say, than you can imagine. She lives in Sun City. So she has all these volunteers, which I get it, because Sun City is a retiree. So then I scratched my head and thought, well, and I'm sitting there, and I know I have to pop up and say something. And I thought, well, what made me so successful? I also had volunteers, and this was at Middleton, a very tough school in inner city. And then I realized, I was a very effective teacher, and I think we are lacking effective teachers. We don't have enough. And I think you need to have more teachers that can handle the rigors of the barrier children, the ones that come in with such language problems, diversified background, cultural difficulties, perhaps one-parent family, more than that, more than the rule. They're coming in very needy. And if I were to say to you that, sure, I want my volunteers, I need them, but I still think that we have to spend a lot of our energy in getting these educators very well trained and ready for the type of children that we have in our schools today. They're not the same when you and I were growing up. It's a tougher generation out there, and they're quick. And a lot of them are angry. I went to the Athena meeting, and Rhonda will attest. Kids don't believe a lot what the adults are saying. And So a lot of them are coming to school angry and with other baggage. So I think that's something we need to look at, getting these teachers really well-trained. And I know Jerry has been a substitute, and he'll tell you a lot, and I also Whit. We definitely have to prepare our teachers better, and that's without a doubt. This is my commitment, and I have 5 of them to you, and then I'm going to shut up. Commitments. This is what I really, really want to work on. I want to vastly improve parental involvement. Sounds so simple, doesn't it? And I use the word vastly because every demographic that I've been in, which is the whole darn county, we hear that. Parents are not around. I think we actually got used to it. I think the teachers, and Bill, you can correct me, I think we're actually, the last 5 to 8 years, we just got used to having no parent involvement, and we're trying to do everything ourselves. And without enough guidance counselors, and now we put resource officers to engage. And I think the parental involvement, we have to go ahead and expend the resources to bring them in, especially in the language where they do not speak